Glad that I remember.
Say what now?
All of my archived episodes can always be found on youtube.com/Weston Hurt. And so once we finish up with ours, I'll post that there as well. And so we can always have a place to find all the old episodes.
Oh, so should I share to public or news
Yeah,
feed?
yeah. Make sure that the shared post is public. That way anybody can see it.
Okay, I think I did it.
Okay, good. I am so excited that you are here. Sandra Piques Eddy, the amazing mezzo-soprano who I had the joy of knowing in my career. And we had the opportunity to, only once, but we had the
I know.
opportunity to sing together. Can
And
you
you
believe
played
that
my dad,
I played your dad?
and I played your son.
This is true. You were, that wouldn't be people's first guess, I don't think, if we didn't tell them the opera and we didn't tell them voice categories and so forth. But you were the most beautiful son I've ever had.
Yes, thank you very much. A
Yeah.
little.
So
I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
was Hansel and Gretel. And can you believe that that was 10 years ago?
Yes, because B, my daughter, who's now 11, that's when she learned how to walk on that
On that
gig.
gig.
And
In the meeting area, restaurant area, whatever of that, what was that, a Marriott Residence Inn? Or no. Yeah,
yes,
it was Marriott Residence Inn.
with the best spread. Like
Right?
for breakfast, they even had like Japanese breakfast. Do you remember that? That was amazing.
That place was, and remember if you went the staircase instead of the elevators, they had all these like previous Portland Opera professional photos all
Photos
lining the
of
staircase. Yeah.
the-
I thought
Yeah,
that was so cool because they had
that
housed
was
the opera there for
so
so long.
yeah. That was such a great time. What a great cast with Maureen. It was just like such a lovely
I know. That was
time. Great
a
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah, and it
Uh,
was around this time, wasn't it? It was
yeah,
because
it
it
was
was
like in October. In fact,
yeah.
just the other day, Claire Buravac, who had been, Chris Mattaliano was the general director there, and Claire was the artistic director. So now Claire Buravac is the new general director of New Orleans Opera.
I heard
And
that's so
so
lucky,
she
lucky
invited,
ones.
I know, lucky New Orleans, lucky
I don't
Claire.
say it
I think
properly.
it's a win-win for everybody. But it was so cool that she invited me to do like a little cocktail hour with New Orleans
Oh,
opera folks. And so I
awesome.
got to jump on there and see them, and Chris jumped in, and I think Chris didn't know that I was there, and he was like, "Ah, Weston, hey, how you doing?" It was
I
so great.
adore both of them so much. They've
I
been
know,
so
they're
good
great.
to me. That's awesome.
If for no other reason, they brought us together. So
Yes, also I wanted to say on that gig, remember the meet and greet? We all stood up and said, "Hello, my name is blah blah blah."
that's
You
right.
got up and you told us that you were going to be a daddy.
That's
I
right.
remember that.
I remember that was like um just on the side of like it being safe to tell people, you know what I mean? Like it was like Christina had started her second trimester, I guess. And so it was like, I remember asking, I was like, can I tell everyone that we're going to have a kid,
So great. It's
and
so hard to keep
I
that
was so
secret.
excited. And of
Oh my God.
course, the first present Millie ever received was
From my
Lindsay.
husband. Which is it's so inappropriate. I don't know if we can say it.
Oh, please. It was
Oh,
like all mommy wanted was a back rub. It was
I
so
was like,
good.
Billy, could you like? And he's just like, no, we'll like it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope your
Tell
wife.
Billy I loved it, and she wore it like a champ until she didn't wear it anymore.
It's so great. Oh
So,
my, I remember seeing you at Juilliard. I attended an opera that you were in.
okay.
In a
So
Handel.
let's see. When I was at Juilliard, we did well, I was covering Onegin. That was the first thing and then we did Giovanni, Don Giovanni. Was it that?
I
And
don't
then
know.
what we did, and then
I
we
thought,
did,
I thought
we
you did a
did,
Handel opera with Camille and Michael.
that was Oreste.
Yes, that's what I
Handel's,
thought. I didn't want to say the
Handel,
wrong name.
Handel's very not well known pasticcio Oreste that they did for
I
mariachi.
was like, who is this guy? All of you. I was just like, I knew Michael and I knew Camille. And I
Yeah.
was like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Michael, Camille, um,
oh, was Angela in it?
Angela. Oh wait, no. Angela Fout wasn't in that one. God, Brandon McReynolds was the tenor,
Yes,
if I'm
yes,
not
yes,
mistaken.
yes. I
Monica's
think so.
husband, Monica Eunice's husband, and then who was the other? Oh, Christiane Rushton. Did you ever know Christiane Rushton? She was one of our mezzos at JOC. But yeah, that was such. Lillian
Never
Groag
seen
directed
those.
it. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I don't always get the opportunity to meet mezzos, and they're always like the coolest people. I'm like, man, there are only there's usually one mezzo in a show,
It's true.
and
It's
then
true. Yeah.
hang out. Who's the director?
Lillian Groad
Brilliant,
directed, who
brilliant.
is phenomenal. I mean, she during the process, it's sometimes a little bit like, "Whew, okay, all right, let's run this one more time. Okay, let's run this again.
You
Let's
know
run
what
this again."
I did? We did Idomeneo at Boston Lyric with Lillian, and a thing that I love that I'll always go back to that she taught us is like sometimes it just takes 10 seconds to just sit and focus, and it's 10 seconds, which sounds like nothing, but if you take those 10 seconds to just and just put all your focus into it, then you could just turn everything around.
Right.
But she's like, okay, everybody take 10 seconds. And I was like, oh,
Right,
that's
right.
all it needs.
Well,
10 seconds.
she comes at this career from such an interesting perspective. She was a playwright, a director. She starred in, I think she was in television. Like she's
Yep.
such an interesting person. And so
Yes.
she would always get so pissed off if somebody came in, like if you had a rehearsal that started at 10 and you showed up at like 9:58 or something. She's like, how do you expect to be able to jump into this character with your Starbucks cup in your hand? Like she got so mad at the tenor, I
Oh my
remember.
gosh. That's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, anyway, let's talk about you. Let's talk about Sandy. And I want to know, when did you first, well, firstly, how did you get into music? How did you get into singing? When did all that start to take place for you?
Okay, well, when I was a kid, I loved singing, but I didn't know it was something that I could pursue as a career. I used to imitate voices all the time, commercials and silly things. That's how I just kind of figured out how I could change colors, change timbre, all that
Yeah.
kind of, just playing around. So I was in choirs growing up and I just enjoyed it, but I never thought, hey, listen to what I've, got to say. So until I was in high school and I was in the Olive Reams high school show choir and I was in the musicals. And it wasn't until my senior year of OA that I
What is
had the
OA?
Olive Reams, the name of the public school here.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
and I'm actually in the town that I grew up in now because we were back home. All of us are in one house. My mom, my husband, my daughter, my dog. So we're all helping each other out, during this time, families all come together. So it's been a good thing for us. But anyway, so
Well, and let me say, as a singer, I mean, when would we ever have this type of opportunity? I mean, we've never had it before. Once you start going and things are working, when have you ever had the opportunity to spend this much time with your family? I mean, it's kind of amazing.
never had it in 20 years. In 20
Yeah,
years I've
I
had
know.
this. Yeah. So it's a blessing and I'm choosing to look at it as a time to like reset. It's a nice blessing to kind of chill out a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah. So it started here in Easton. I started singing in the high school show choir and
I was
in
just
the
going to say, so in your high school program, was it more show choir based or was it more classical music or pop? Like what kind of genres?
show choir was like the hit of the like if you were like it was the coolest thing to do at school. I loved it so much. And that was, I was like this really shy kid, which
Yeah.
you don't believe because you've known me as an adult, but as a kid, um and my OA friends and my friends from my elementary school, they would tell you that, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you could speak, let alone sing, because I was a really quiet kid.
Okay.
Um, and then somehow, and I'm sure that many people can share this story, but like somehow you find your niche and and like you find music or art or sports or whatever in
Yeah.
high school. And then you're like, oh, my people, I understand. Like all my life, people are like, you're weird, right? But then I was in the music department and I was like, oh, I get it. I'm like these guys here, so I
Yeah.
love musicals, but I was in the chorus until senior year in high school where I was like, okay, I think I'm going to audition for Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors, and I got it. My mom made the costumes. I had blonde hair. I
Oh my
talked
God.
the whole time. It was like the silliest thing. And I belt like, man, could I belt? I wish I could belt the way I belted back then, but it was like, like I could belt that stuff out.
Right.
But but I just
Adrenaline
had
and
to
youth.
came out of my shell, because I got to play. I wasn't myself up there. I got to play somebody else.
Right.
And I think that that's even now, all these years later, those are my favorite roles where you really just kind of step into it and you kind of abandon. I mean, you find parts of yourself in each character that you do, or you kind of find things to relate, even when you're playing somebody that you're not really you don't think you're anything
Anything
like
like, right, right.
character, and you're like, oh, I get why she's doing this or he's doing this. So, but yeah, so that's how it started. And then I remember auditioning for like all state choir, and then before you know it, I'm applying to the Boston Conservatory as a music ed major and
So when
loving.
did you, so at some point you said you love performing, but
Yeah.
you purposefully went into college as a music education major. Did you not know that there was a performance route or what that would look like? Or were you just like, no, I want to teach?
I love, okay, I just want to say before like I get into this, but I think that people that choose to teach are like, especially nowadays, they're like complete heroes, especially now. Like I hear my kids' orchestra teacher teaching via Zoom, and I'm just blown away at how this person
Phenomenal.
can juggle everything and call each kid by name, tune each instrument. It's like it blows my mind. But I love teaching, and I think I don't know if I was great at it. I think I loved it so much, and I was enthusiastic that the kids that I taught, they were wondering what is this 22-year-old, like when I was teaching middle school, they were like, what is this 22-year-old person, why does she love Bach so much? Like, so I think because I was younger and I was so just energetic and like enthusiastic about what I was teaching, that I think that kind of lured them into kind of being as committed as I was into the music. I
Right.
was really lucky that I was teaching in the Needham Public Schools
Hmm.
in Massachusetts, and I had the best people that I worked with were amazing. Like there's a woman, Lucy O'Mara. I hope she's watching this because she played for me, and she would help me out and like give a description for like the history of, oh well, this is about, and then she would explain like the backstory. So if there was anything that could be taken in a different like way, especially with middle school boys, she would get up and she was like, don't worry about it, Sandy, I'm going to take care of this. And then they're not gonna chuckle or anything. I'm like, thank you, Lucy. But she was the best. I had Lucy there with me, and we would like bounce ideas off each other.
And what
And
level was this that you were teaching?
I taught kindergarten through eighth grade. And then like second year there, I only taught for 3 years full time. My second year there, the administration, they were like, we think you're really great at middle school. So I taught sixth, seventh, eighth, um, all day for the two years, and I
Wow.
taught 7 classes. So it was general music and guitar, which is funny because I think I could play like 7 or 8 chords on a guitar now, but back then, I mean, maybe 12. I don't know, like I don't know that many, like, so I would like always be learning a little bit before, but like as a music ed major, you learn how to play all the instruments enough to
Right.
teach a beginner. And it taught me how to be a better performer. And I always say this because music, if you're up there teaching middle school kids, it's like 7 performances a day. If you have 7 classes, it's 7 performances a day. You also learn how to think on your feet. You also say, oh, this doesn't work, let's try this.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of just go with it. And
No, I agree. I absolutely agree that in those moments where things seem like they're falling apart, and you're like, okay, well, pivot, shift. Okay, how about this? Let's, it really
all
is
right, we're gonna do some stretches. All right, okay, here we go.
so good.
Oh
So
man.
good.
Yeah, so music ed was my undergrad, and I chose it because I loved it, and I thought it was a secure job, but also I really thought that was my path. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I didn't know. I really thought that that was going to be my path, and I loved teaching that age group.
Yeah.
Um, and when I went for here's a like a secret, but like when I went back for my master's degree in performance at Boston University, I really, honest to God, thought it was just going to be part of a requirement for in Massachusetts. If you're teaching in the public schools, you have to be. I don't know if this is still true, but you have to be pursuing your master's degree within 5 years. You don't have to finish it in 5 years, but you do have to start your master's degree within the 5 years that you started teaching.
Okay.
So I figured this is like in the back of my mind because as a music ed major at Boston Conservatory, I was because it's a wonderful like gem of it, like it's a smaller school. The teachers there was the Cecilia Shivi, who was the opera director there at the time. She was taking a class with me, a music ed class, and she encouraged me to audition for or to audit the opera
Hmm.
program, the opera classes. She said, I think you're great on, like, she didn't see me on stage. She was like, she would see me teach classes.
Very animated.
Yes. And she said, why don't you audition and bring 5 arias? And I was just like, what are arias? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking
What was that
about.
last word you said?
Yes, and songs that are very dramatic. So I had maybe, I think it was like Sento nel Core, which is not an aria, but I had Batti Batti, which was an aria,
Yeah.
and Vadoro Pupile, and because I used to be a soprano. And then she took me into the opera department, and I audited the courses and just took it because I loved performing, and they gave me roles in like Sor Angelica that I still know all the words to, like all these years later. But
Amazing.
because they gave me the opportunity to try it out, and I thought that was such a wonderful thing for that one teacher to say, hey, I hear something and I see something. Would you like to try this? And
Yeah.
as a musical theater kid, when I saw my first opera at BU was Dido and Aeneas, and I was like, wow! And all my friends are up there, including my now husband. He was
Hmm.
up there wearing a toga, and I'm like, oh, I want to be part of this. This is awesome. This is my
Right.
jam. I was just like, this is great, and it was in English, so it was a good way to kind of introduce
Sure.
someone into opera. And then I listened to Dame Janet Baker's recording a bazillion times in the school library,
Right.
and yeah, then I was hooked. I was
So
like, give me more.
so you started you finished your Bachelor of Music Education at Boston Conservatory,
Yes.
and then you did the Opera Masters of Vocal Performance at Boston Conservatory also, or was that BU?
Boston University.
Boston University. Okay. But
Yes.
and,
And
and
then
is that was that part of the Opera Institute or was that different?
we're all kind of together. Oh, someone wants to come in. Come sit over here for a second, okay? Come sit over here for a second. And I'll make sure I give you a nice introduction. So
Okay.
it was part of the whew. So all the opera, the undergrad, the grad, and uh, the Opera
Opera
Institute
Institute.
were all kind of like in the same casting pool. Of course,
Yeah.
the Opera Institute kids are far more polished and more experienced. So we'd audition. All of us would audition.
That's cool.
So yeah,
So,
so that's what I did for my master's,
so
in hopes to get my not certificate.
master's certificate because you're teaching or diploma degree, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny because I was just talking to somebody about this on my application for school. It said, "What are your goals?"
Hmm.
As you're going into your master's, and I wrote to support myself and my family teaching and singing in the New England area. I remember that, and so everything that's happened after that has been like above and beyond my wildest.
But what a fantastic like this is what I want to do, and then like
Yeah,
anything else that goes beyond, as opposed to like I want to be the best opera singer in the world. I want to like some kind of just bizarre goal. Like what a
yeah,
realist, hopefully idealistically realistic,
yeah, sure,
goal
sure.
that you set for yourself. That's kind of
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I
It
feel that
is.
now looking back on it, and I'm thinking, wow, I worked really hard. You know me, I'm like always, practicing and doing my
Yeah.
thing. But I just thought, wow, if this could be my life where I'm teaching and singing and supporting myself doing that, that's awesome. Anything else after that is frosting on a cake. So
Exactly. Exactly.
Ooh,
You mentioned what'd you say?
someone's in this room right
I
now.
know, I know. I got a few more questions. So you
Okay, hold
mentioned
up.
that you started out as a soprano.
Yes.
When did you make the switch, or how did you make the switch from soprano to mezzo soprano?
Okay, so I made the switch when after a few years of teaching, and I want to first do a shout out to Sarah Goldstein Gall at the Boston Conservatory because she is awesome, and we're still close, and she's just a phenomenal teacher, and she's also mentioned to me, I wish I had diagnosed you as a, not diagnosed, but like I had, called you a mezzo. But at that time, and this is big kudos to the Boston Conservatory. At the time that I was a music ed major and taking just a 30-minute voice lesson a week
Right.
with my teacher. So there was, there was a high, when you're in your 20s, like if you're a mezzo, there's still like, you do need those high notes. You need a high C if you're a mezzo, you're singing Stefano, and like the Rossinis go up to B's. So
Yeah.
she was warming me up as a soprano, and I used to sing things like Trees on the Mountain, not very well, but things like that. But then when I switched over, it was with another wonderful teacher, Susan Ormont
Hmm.
at Boston University, and it was funny. It was like a few months of going back and forth and saying, okay, well, Zerlina sounds really good, but you could still sing Zerlina, or like, oh, but I would try to sing Susanna, but the no turna face, it would be like all of a sudden like,
Like that's your favorite part.
that's right. So we're like, okay, let's try this. But also, I feel like I realized I could sing the lower stuff when I was a middle school chorus teacher, because we had sopranos, second sopranos, altos. We had a ton of them, and then we had like 8 baritones, and I would sing with the baritones, the boys,
To try to
and
beef it up a little bit.
it was just like, oh, it's right. I got it. It's there. It was just like a party trick that now I was like, oh, I get to use it.
Isn't that funny? I say all the time, like any sound that you can make is
Yeah.
your sound, you
Yes.
know? And I think
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier about having the knack for being able to imitate sounds or imitate voices. And
Yeah.
it's teaching, I'm on faculty at the University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory, UMKC. And oftentimes I'm working with my students, and when the student has the majority of their background from choral music, and now
Hmm.
they're learning to sing as a soloist, they oftentimes just assume that the singing would be the same, and so we have to talk about the differences between choral singing and solo singing, and
Hmm.
also to talk about the differences in understanding how the choice that you make in refining your vowel is really what's going to determine the timbre of your sound. And so if
Sound.
you purposefully use a Boston I vowel,
Yeah.
you're going to sing,
Wicked awesome.
it's going to be wicked. It's going to be
Yeah,
wicked awesome.
Boston. Have you always been a baritone?
Interestingly enough, in choir in high school, I was the guy with the reliable low C. And so
Hmm.
I thought I was a bass because
Yeah,
I
because
always
it's cool.
I was
Because
always
being
put on bass too. I realized that there was some kind of personality trait of like, yeah, we're basses. We're
yeah, right.
cool. And then I'll never forget when I was a freshman in college, the second semester of my freshman year, my teacher looked at me and goes, "You're not a bass, you're a baritone." And I remember thinking to myself, how do you know that? You don't know that, and it
It's
was
so
so,
it's like an identity thing. Because when I went from soprano to mezzo soprano,
yeah.
I remember singing Juliet's Waltz and being like, "I'm Juliet." And then when I found out, okay, I'm a mezzo soprano. Wait, I'm Romeo's friend. I'm like a sidekick. But that's okay. Now you know me. That's so much more my personality
Of course.
than
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
my temperaments. And it was just like everything just kind of fell into place and it just fit. But
We have
oh,
we have a few people chiming in. So Lexi LeBianco is like family first, love all the stories.
yay!
Sasha Sherman had no idea that you were a soprano, so she is blown
No!
away, amazing. James Lang says
Oh my gosh!
loves
Loves
turtles
turtle forever. He was my Nero in Coronation of Popea,
in
which
Boston.
I'm not supposed to have favorites, but in at Opera North in England, and we had a tour,
In
but
Leeds.
that was my all-time. I'm not supposed to say, it's like picking your favorite child. Luckily, I only have one, but like
Right.
that was my all-time favorite opera that I've ever been in,
That's
because
amazing.
Jamie or James and the entire cast was so perfectly suited for their roles,
Yeah.
and it was like the most genuine, beautiful group of people in one space. And then Monteverdi, which some
Right.
people are like, eh, or oh my god,
No,
it's the most luscious, gorgeous music. I could get
so
lost
great.
in it, and it's just, oh, Jamie
So
Lang,
great.
I
And
missed him.
Alex Fletcher says, "Oh, he's agreeing with me." He said, "Me too, Weston, on bass too. If I was still singing, I'd be just like you." And of
I
course,
love
James says,
the videos
"Obviously,
that
it was your fave."
I love the videos, the family videos that they made, and when Alex was singing along, and like
Oh my God, when he and Joelle were doing all the stuff with Hazel, when it was like the quarantine. Oh my God,
I
that
look
stuff
forward
was
to those because
gold. That is
yes,
going to be key embarrassment tools for when Hazel gets older.
16, she'll be like, oh my gosh.
I know,
That's
right? That's amazing. So when you made this switch to mezzo soprano, I mean,
okay.
again, the point of this show is to talk about those challenges and struggles that we face with vocal technique. I would imagine that you had to make some shifts, or because you were singing that sort of Swishen rep, did you feel like you were just like singing similarly, but not, or did you have to purposefully sort of make a difference in shifts of like where, did you purposefully start your sort of switch
Like
through the
switch.
passaggio a little earlier, or
Um, I think because a lot of the repertoire I was singing was Mozart, so I was
yeah,
singing a lot of Dorabella, which Dorabella and Cherubino and Zerlina. It sits in like around F
right,
and sharp and G. So around that area is it's a very soprano-y territory
right,
there.
right.
So, but I felt like I was able to kind of get a little bit more grounded in terms of just like I've always had color in my voice, and I think it confused people, and it still kind of confuses people because they want to put you in heavier stuff too
Yeah.
soon. You have a little bit of color in your voice. Like I purposefully didn't touch Carmen until later. But people had asked about it because I think because I'm Portuguese, they're like, oh, you could kind of look like a Spanish. So, I don't know, but they were like,
Yeah, I'm
oh,
sure it was just your heritage that made people think of you for Carmen. I'm sure that's what it was.
I don't know. I don't know why people think of
Well,
me for
since you
whatever,
bring
but
it up, what
sure.
is the difference? Because Carmen, you think of that sort of Mama Earth kind of. So
Yes.
how did that, the first time you sang that role, what sort of challenges were you faced with?
I could tell you the very obvious challenge was I was 6 months pregnant.
Okay, well, there's one. Yeah, sure.
I have to okay, I'm gonna like scale back a little bit. I've been really lucky with the whole Carmen, the way it all worked out with the Carmen, the trajectory of Carmen, because for years I was when I was at the Met singing Mercedes, I was in the Zeffirelli Carmen first,
Yeah,
and I remember covering the other Mercedes, and she would cover me, and then I would hear all these different Carmens. So I heard like the really dark, like Olga Bordina Carmens, and then I would hear like a lighter, brighter Carmen. So like it was just like there's so many different colors,
right.
and so, like the timbres and also the weight. And then when I did um, the the more recent with Alina Garancha when she
Hmm.
was and I was the Mercedes with Liz Caballero and
Oh yeah.
Alanya and Yannick's debut at the Met.
Wow.
So I just name dropped like a total jerk.
Like
But
here, hold on. Let me grab those for you.
yeah, I'm just name
Here you go.
dropping. Oh, phew, nice. Oh. Anyway, so that was great too because then I started to hear more like full lyric mezzos sing Carmen, and I thought, oh,
With
okay, well,
with Garancha.
yeah, and
Yeah.
her voice is like so full and gorgeous, but it's a different sound than mezzos I had been hearing previous
Right.
to,
Right.
yeah. So, and both are perfectly acceptable and wonderful
Sure.
because it was premiered at the Opera Comique, and it's a smaller theater where Carmen was premiered. So and even like mezzos that were singing Carmen would say, "Oh, I think you're going to sing Carmen someday." And this was like years and years before. Like there was this. I remember Olga was like, "Oh, you will sing this," and I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you," because she's just a goddess. But and I'm trying to think of this. There was another mezzo that I loved, Spanish mezzo. Now I'm forgetting her name, and I feel really embarrassed because she was so awesome. Oh, I'm forgetting her name. Anyway, I'm gonna remember her name when we're in the
Okay.
middle of something else. I'll just blurt
Sure.
it out.
It's fine.
But it's like people have been so supportive, saying, you know what, in the meantime, while you're marinating, start working on flamenco and start working on castanets.
That's
And
brilliant.
yeah, and like I would listen, and I would before you knew it, like you knew the role without realizing it.
Right. Well, and you had to, like you say, you had the opportunity to be around it so often with the Mercedes that you were doing. And
Yeah.
then, so I imagine by the time that you got to it, you were like, oh, yeah, I know how this goes.
Somewhat, yes. A lot of French. But so when I sang Carmen for the first time, it was at Chicago Opera Theater,
Hmm.
and it was Tragedy of Carmen, and it was set in like 1940s, and I had my baby bump, but they did such a great job at ruching. Ruching is a pregnant lady's best friend, or so it was really a fantastic way to get into it because again, it's the 90-minute version of Carmen, so it was
Yeah.
just all the meat and potatoes. There was just the Carmen, Escamillo, Jose, Micaela, uh, Lilas Pastias is in it,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much it. Oh, and Garcia, her husband.
Hmm.
He has like a couple lines, but yeah. So it was a really great way to get started. And it's a scaled down orchestra. So I feel really lucky that when I tried the Carmen role, it was just little by little and kind of getting all the information where I could get it. And then by the time I did it, like then I had a friend that said, "Hey, do you sing Carmen?" I said, "I'm working on it." Then they're like, "Oh, I know a small symphony that's doing it in uh, Steamboat Springs. Would you like to try it out there with Stephen Bias conducting?" And
Hmm.
it was really another like kind of easing my way in. And then the full production I've ever sung was at Kansas City,
Lyric Opera
at
Kansas
Opera
City.
Kansas City, the entire opera. So it was
So
yeah.
technically speaking, was it something that you had to rethink of coming from like all of those different roles that you mentioned that were sort of more in soprano land? Did you make any adjustments that you were singing a role that's a bit meatier, or did you just sing it with your voice and have
Just sang it with my voice. There were
that's
things that
fantastic.
I remember just looking into it, and then there were things that I would hear people kind of dig in a little bit, and I would say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna do a little bit more of like a purr." You know what I mean? That like there are things I would honestly, I would think, "Oh, but this could mean." I try to look at it from a different things from a different perspective, and I think we've talked about this before, where you look at a character and you're trying to find the similarities with that person. And like when I'm my not criticism, but like something I get a lot when people talk about the way I perform Carmen is people are like, "Oh, you play her as somebody that I feel like I know, but also it's like there's a vulnerability to her." And it's funny because when I play Carmen, I have people say, "Oh, I like how vulnerable you play her at times." But then when I play like Cenerentola, they're like, "Oh, I like how tough you play her at times." So it's like you just have to find, like all of us, all the colors, all the different, um,
Right.
the
And it's probably really fun. I mean, I know I do it as well. It's like, I mean, obviously, I was born with one hand, and so oftentimes I'm playing a character who you would never think, like, oh, what would it be like if this character only had one hand? I think it brings a unique dynamic to some of the roles. And I think similarly to what you're saying, it's like if you play Carmen with more vulnerability and more, if we see that side as opposed to the obvious, right? Or if you
yeah,
play, someone who, like Cenerentola, you would think is the princess,
yeah,
more like tough and more like,
yeah,
yeah, these
yeah.
stepsisters, I had to make sure I was on top of it.
Oh yeah. And
Then I
she's always
think,
they tell her not to do it, and she's like, I'm gonna do it," and then she does it again and again and again, even though they've told her, "Oh, okay," in a
right?
little. But again, like I think that with one of the best productions I've ever done of Carmen was actually a really kind of wild out there production, which was kind of some people loved it and some people were just kind of like, I don't sure I understand this. My daughter's playing with the thing.
Someone's, am I in
Someone
your light? What is the am I in your light? It's the aria from oh no, oh my god. Sasha Cook debuted it at the Met. Dr. Atomic.
Dr. Atomic.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. You will. Okay.
So we should let the people know.
Put the girls in.
So I thought that this would be such a cool idea because I met your daughter when we first met because she was learning to walk, and you knew about when you first met me that I was having a daughter. I thought
Yeah.
it would be cool for us to bring our daughters on the show to have a
What
little, to have a little. It's either the best idea I've ever had or the worst idea. But hey, Millie, are you here? Come here, boo boo. Come on in. B, are you there? Hi, B.
Yay!
So this is Sandra, and this is her daughter, B, right? This is Amelia. Of course, I'm Weston. And I thought it would be fun for you guys to talk and for us to ask questions to you about what it's like being the daughter of an opera singer. Because I think that that probably is not a normal thing for people to experience for the most part. And I would imagine that people who are fans of opera and who enjoy listening to opera would love to have some of the insight for what it's like, right? So looks like Millie has written down some questions.
Yeah.
Millie,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
and look, and B has written down some questions
Be
too.
afraid. Be very afraid.
Some questions.
Some questions. So wait, let's start this off. B, what grade are you in now?
I'm in 5th grade.
You're in 5th grade. And Millie,
Yeah.
what grade are you in?
4th.
4th grade. Okay. So we got 1 year between us. This is awesome. And you're doing, how are you going to school, B?
I'm doing full remote.
Full remote. Same
Yeah.
here. And is that going okay for you?
It's a little bit lonely because I, can't really talk to any of the kids there. And I was really hoping, since I'm a new student, that I
Because
can
you
make
just
new
moved.
friends. But I guess I'll have to wait till next year or this winter.
January. We're
In
hoping to go
January.
back.
Yeah, we're hoping that might be available for us too.
How about
Do
you,
you feel
Millie?
like that too? You don't have do you feel connected to the kids that are in your class on Zoom? No. But you get to know some of them. You have one friend, right? Addie, isn't she in your class?
I have like a lot of friends in my classroom.
Oh, sorry. Well, okay. How many friends do you have in your classroom that you knew before?
Reese.
Reese,
Addison.
Addison.
I think I knew Aliana.
Mm-hmm. And I guess every once in a while they do small breakout rooms, right? Where you get to kind of
Yeah. B
Yeah.
always enjoys those.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can finally talk to people. A
I know.
person. A
I
person.
know. I kind of wish they would do like a, okay, hey, we're going to do something, are there any kids in person at your school?
Yeah, there's
Yeah, there's sorry.
no, go ahead.
There's 3 groups. The first one goes in on Monday and Tuesday, then does remote on Wednesday, and does remote on Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
There's another group that does
Cohort B.
cohort B, yeah, that does it. I don't know.
I don't know. Cohort B.
Cohort B.
Right.
That does it. That do remote on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, goes to school Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay.
And then there's cohort C, which is me. I do remote all the time, except everyone in the whole school does remote on Wednesdays.
And they do deep cleaning.
Deep cleaning.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. So I was going to say, I wish that they would do something where if they were working with the kids in class, they could say okay, so anyone's that's online right now, why don't you guys just talk and hang out?
And sometimes she doesn't even tell us that she's in a breakout room, and we're like, Miss Reiki, where did you go?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta
Where'd
tell
you
us.
go, Miss Reiki?
Exactly. All right. Well, let's get down to it.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? You want to read a question first, Millie?
No.
Oh, you got. B, why don't you go first?
Okay. What is it like having a dad as an opera singer?
That is a hard question.
Why?
Because sometimes
Why don't you look over here?
it gets a little crazy. He goes a little extra. He goes a little loud.
I get it.
What do you mean? What do I do that's extra?
More loud. It's like, just.
Tissimo.
It's a little too much
It's a
sometimes.
little too much.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes it can be loud, but it's like having a live concert that you don't even have to pay for.
What an amazing way to
Wow.
think of it. What an incredible way to think of it, B. I wish maybe you would adapt that.
But isn't it nice to have such a beautiful voice in your house all the time?
It's like a speaker.
Yeah, what do you think about
You
that?
even need a speaker.
Well, it is kind of distracting when I'm doing school because somebody's saying
Oh, yeah.
a little over the line.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
Sorry about
breakout
that.
rooms.
oh
But
no.
not too over the line.
Okay.
He's still under the line, but there's another line that he's almost to.
So funny.
Okay. All right, Millie, you asked B a question.
Sorry.
How many times have you gotten to travel with your mom to see her sing?
There's so many times that sometimes I can't even remember sometimes because some of them when I was like a little baby. I've just been traveling with her my whole life, and it's just like such a great experience, and I love.
What are ones that you remember recently?
Recently, New Zealand.
That was
Definitely.
awesome. That was so
That was
cool.
That's amazing.
That was so cool.
Thing ever.
That is amazing. Well, and what's so cool is that your mom gets to sing in New York City a lot, and y'all live in Boston, and so that's a really easy trip from Boston. Amtrak.
Amtrak. I don't know. Like we're gonna have.
We're gonna write a jingle for Amtrak.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so she got to go to Japan twice. I mean, yeah. I'm like,
That's incredible.
I never had a passport like she did when I was her age. That's for sure.
Yeah, I never had a passport when I was little.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the cutest thing is when they're a baby and they have their baby photos in the passport.
You
That's
had a
like,
baby. Yep, she had one.
Kept it because it was like, you can't get rid of that. It's the cutest thing ever.
No, you need to save
What's
that.
yours?
Oh no. No, we're
No,
not
yours
doing
is
that.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
B, your turn.
Questions for Weston too.
Oh, do what? Wait.
Oh no, we're doing.
alternate?
Yeah, you guys are doing. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I forgot
What's
the
your-
rules. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm
What's
gonna-
your
oh, wait.
favorite thing about your dad's job?
What's your favorite thing?
We get a lot of professional things, like including this mic that I don't know.
We can show.
Including this mic.
That looks
wow.
awesome.
I have a nice
Like
nice
huge
microphone.
speakers.
We're in our back porch.
We're in our enclosed porch.
We're in our enclosed porch.
That looks awesome.
I'm still
And you guys
confused. Is this Kansas City's or yours?
No, it's mine.
So because they give you the money for you to spend.
Millie, B's question was, what is your favorite thing about my job?
Getting really.
And yours is just
things.
because of the money I make, we can buy cool stuff. That's your answer?
No.
Terrible. Millie, what about having the opportunity to make music and to, okay, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. If that's what it is, that's what it is. Okay, great.
That's what it is.
All right, Millie, ask one of your questions. Maybe ask one to B's mommy.
Okay, this is for your mom.
Miss Sandy.
Okay.
I'm good.
Have you ever been so nervous that you forgot the words in the middle of a song on stage?
Oh my goodness. Can I tell you a story really quick? Because we were talking about my first Carmen and I was pregnant and I had just seen, I'm going to try to make this a short story, but that morning there was something on TV about some woman who wrote a book about pregnancy and what was pregnancy brain. And I was telling Noah Stewart, my tenor, I said, I saw this funny thing on the Today Show or whatever about this woman who wrote a book about pregnancy brain and all the things that happen when you're pregnant. And she said that she asked her husband to go to the store to get some produce that was yellow that is shaped like a moon that monkeys eat, and she couldn't remember the name of the fruit. What is that? Can you guess?
Banana.
Banana, yes. Okay. So I told Noah, I said, isn't that funny? And she just couldn't remember the word banana. I'm like, and then I got a little, I said, I'm so lucky that hasn't happened to me.
Cocky.
And you know what? That very night, I was singing, the habanera, which I've sung more than Happy Birthday at this point in my life. And I was like,
That's just sad.
jamais, 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 jamais. Like I was like singing jamais, 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 jamais. Instead of the actual words. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot the words to habanera. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's the beginning of the opera. I'm going to go to the other side of the stage and then I'm going to sing my second verse. And then I get to it. I'm like, you're not going to mess it up again. I messed it up again.
You shouldn't get cocky.
But
That's
I know
the
I shouldn't get cocky.
moral of the story.
And the funny thing is, at the very end, on stage, maybe I shouldn't admit this, but on stage, after, "Prangarda tua papa," and then Noah looked at me and he said, "Banana."
That's so good.
And
That
I was
is
like,
so good.
I know. The rest of the show was fine, but I was like, I cannot believe that I just.
Amazing.
I know.
Yeah, that they.
Yeah,
That
it
was the one at
crazy.
COT.
At COT.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna blame
nice.
pregnancy brain for that one. But thank you for that
Yeah,
question, Millie, because that is a
sure.
funny story that I always
Sure.
get a kick out of,
Sure.
especially Noah going banana.
Banana.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so my
Okay.
next question is, what do you do? Oh, it's for Millie. What do you do to cope when you miss your dad when he's on a gig, away on a gig?
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
I sleep on the side of the bed when I'm sleeping with my mom.
Same. That is the same exact thing.
I want to hug you. Oh my gosh.
I do that. I did.
Oh, that is the
That's the
sweetest.
sweetest thing ever.
Oh.
And we also FaceTime all the time, right?
Yes,
We
thank
get
you.
to see each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
FaceTime every morning, every noon, every afternoon, and every night
Mm-hmm.
when he's on a gig. We're like, nope, we're calling my dad.
I don't
One of
even
the-
know
oh,
how
sorry.
people survived before FaceTime on
Yeah.
these.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Portland Opera, Chris Maltagliano, I was there singing a production of, I think it was when I was doing Enrico and Lucia. And there was this moment where we were like, okay, 15, whatever. And I immediately just like called her up on FaceTime and we were talking, and Millie, don't do that. We were talking, and Chris overheard me saying, okay, sweetheart, well, I love you. I'll talk to you. Because of course, on West Coast, Houston is 2 hours ahead. And so it was her time to go to sleep. And he just like came up to me with tears in his eyes, and he was like,
Oh,
it reminds me of when, they used to have to go look for a payphone. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't have, before cell phones. I can't even imagine how people and families stayed connected to their loved ones. It made it 10 times more challenging, I'm sure.
absolutely.
Well,
Oh, B wants to share something
some
with you,
of
which
the
is kind of
things
sweet.
that we used was my mom. Every time before a gig, let me show you how amazing this is.
Okay, I stole
She
this
would
idea.
write
All the good ideas I have, I've stolen.
of these cards for me, and every morning my dad would put it in and leave the mailbox like this.
I got this at Target, in the at the front of the
It's
The
store.
dollar section.
very loved. It's very
loved. It's kind of falling apart.
Mhm.
But I got
And-
it for like $3. For
and then-
$3 at the those bins in Target. It was like
then-
around Valentine's Day.
And then I would just open it up, get my letter of the day. Sometimes bring it to school, read it at school.
At lunch or whatever.
Like-
That
So
is so amazing.
I stole that from Anna Christie.
And
She gave me that idea, and I was like, all right,
Amazing idea.
like thank you.
we also
Oh,
made
and
this
then we had this little.
scrapbook.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was like the BB and Mama show.
That is so
Look
adorable.
at night. Like all these funny pictures. Oh my gosh, I love this one. B was on stage with me as she played like my lady in waiting in Cenerentola at Greensboro Opera. It
Oh,
was
that's
very-
amazing.
You know how to sing
Oh
opera?
yeah, that crazy wig.
Oh, she was an actress on the stage.
Yeah.
She
That-
did the best deep curtsy I've ever seen in my life.
I was like, I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still going.
Oh, Millie's shrinking.
I gave her the last bow. I was like, I bowed, and then B did her bow, and we had this cast of like Sydney Outlaw, Andrew Owens, like a crazy awesome singers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the audience gave the biggest applause.
Like, I'm still going. I'm
Still going. Still going.
I know. I was like, and we're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up.
The curtain.
Oh my gosh.
The closing.
You could have done it like faster.
Whoa.
She was milking it. She was milking it.
I was like,
So good.
I'm
That's
gonna
so
take
good.
it.
Okay, whose turn is it to ask?
um,
Millie's turn. Okay, Millie's turn.
Okay, this is for Bee's mom.
Okay.
Have you ever had to kiss someone on stage?
So many times.
Daddy, go away.
Never. So many times. So many times. I think it's like a lot of times I play somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend. So
She has
a lot of times.
So Miss Sandy, because she's a mezzo-soprano, sometimes she plays what are called pants roles, where she gets to play the character of a boy. And sometimes that character falls in love with a girl and they have to kiss on stage. And then other times she plays the leading lady, and so she has to kiss the tenor or whoever
Have
it is.
you ever kissed someone on stage?
That's interesting.
You've done it a million times, I bet.
No, I haven't done it a million times. Like early in my career, I sang the role of Mazzetto.
Daddy.
Yeah.
And so Mazzetto and Zerlina definitely had some moments in some different productions. But like most of the time I'm like the dad, or I'm the brother, the evil
My dad.
brother.
Wait, do you know that your dad played my dad, but I played his son? Did you know that?
Yeah, that's the very first time that we sang together. She played the role of my son.
We would be sisters.
Yes, we would be
Figure
sisters.
that
We
out.
would be sisters. No,
Aw.
wait, would we?
I don't know.
Because wait, who would you marry?
No, we would be cousins.
No,
Because
if I
Father
was
is
Yeah,
You're
you married, because you're her dad. So if she had a baby and she had me, and then your dad married
I don't
the mother
understand the
of
logic.
I'm
him,
already lost.
and
I'm lost.
so
We
you
would
would
be
be
sisters.
my
I think we would be cousins.
We'd be besties.
bestie.
But we
Okay.
would be
Yeah,
related.
that's a great
We're
summary.
already related like that.
Okay, perfect. Oh my God! So Catherine Cowdrick just commented, "This is lovely." As old parents long ago, we spent $1,500 each month on Sprint and hid lots of presents all around the house. Nice memories. Glad for you all for those cell phones. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so. And Alex says, "This is seriously one of the realest and life-giving things." Thank you.
Oh, thank goodness. I have no idea.
He's over with Joelle in Zurich right now.
Two L's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I finally got to sing with Joelle, and I'm just like, she's like an angel from heaven. I swear that voice is
It's
like
unbelievable. One of the most beautiful, sublime soprano.
natural.
My manager, Alex Fletcher, his wife is named Joelle, and she is a soprano, and she is unbelievably
Awesome.
okay.
Okay.
Whose turn is it?
That was my last.
Bee's? I think it's Bee's turn.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
This is for Mr. Weston.
Mr.
What
Weston.
is your favorite role to sing and why?
What is my favorite role to sing and why? That is a great question. As your mom said, we're not supposed to pick favorites, right?
You know?
However, I will say that favorites. I have to say that my favorite role to sing is can it be a tie? Can I have a tie?
You don't
Of
have to pick
course.
one. You can
Okay.
pick
Favorite roles.
roles.
Okay.
Roles.
It's probably a tie between Scarpia in Tosca.
Why couldn't you do that? I want to see
Is
it.
that the one where I was like, where are they taking my dad?
No, we can get to that story.
Yay!
So Scarpia and probably Rigoletto. And I think that those two roles, and they have nothing to do with each other. I think the reason I like Scarpia so much is like he's like the worst, meanest, like so nasty, just a bad guy. It's really
always good to. It's always
Fun.
fun.
to play
Really
the
fun.
bad characters or like the characters that are really funny. Like it's great to play the main characters, but also that one character that
To
you're
get the
like
dog. I'll be right back.
you're like
Keep going, keep talking.
you're like, oh my gosh, she did so well.
Right. Even if it's
Funny
even if
character.
it's not the main person.
I don't really want to be in here.
But yeah, so I think Scarpia was fun to play because he's such a bad guy, and there's some great music, especially in Act 2. And of course, Rigoletto was a role that I think more than anything, Rigoletto is the jester,
I love Rigoletto. I
Oh,
saw
I'm
it in Boston.
the Hunchback. Yeah, I sang it in Boston. You came, didn't you?
I did. I loved it. I thought it was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was
Yeah.
my first one. That one in Boston was the first time I'd ever sung
Your
it.
mom, because I love yours, your mom as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's another role that I love to sing, Germont La Traviata. But yeah, good question, B. Thank you.
Good question. We're trying to wrangle the dog.
We're trying to get the dog, but he wants
What's your
to
dog's name?
Scout.
And what kind of dog is it?
He's a Maltese.
A Maltese. How cute.
I never thought I could have a dog.
He's like
But
jumping
he's
up on our knee.
hypoallergenic, and I'm in love with this dog. I never thought I would
he
ever have a dog.
prances everywhere. He's always happy.
He's a little diva dog.
He's a
That's-
little
boy,
diva dog.
diva dog.
Gracie. She's
A
always
diva
happy.
boy
She's
dog.
never sad. So
Happy every day.
What's our dog's name?
Gracie.
Gracie. And what kind of dog is Gracie?
A Labrador mixed with a Greyhound.
Yeah. So she's like a Greyhound Labrador mix. Is she in here? No, she's not in here. Oh, are you gonna bring her in here?
They're both going after the
Come on, baby.
It's so crazy. The only toy she plays with is her ducky. That's been torn up by our last dog, Rosie, a puppy.
Oh, here's Gracie. Here's Gracie.
Sweet baby.
Gracie, come here. Where are you going?
Come
Oh my
I don't know if you
goodness.
can see her.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Oh, look, Millie, look at their dog. So cute.
Old a week ago.
He's
not supposed to be on
still
the table.
growing. He's still growing his puppy coat. So
Yeah,
no,
his
his
hair
How old is your dog?
plays a year. He's not growing his
1 year.
look.
Okay. Gracie is 6. And we rescued her. Oh, what'd you say? She's what?
We did not rescue her.
Yes, we did.
Some people rescued her, and then we adopted her.
No, don't put him down. I love my.
Did you hear that?
I didn't. I'm so sorry.
I was corrected. I said that we adopted Gracie, or we rescued Gracie. And Millie said, no, we did not rescue Gracie. And I was like,
Some people rescued Gracie, and I said, then we adopted her. Get with the program.
Oh, okay.
get with the program. Okay, so right. I had forgotten about that.
I always used to get confused by that. Like, did we
Okay.
rest?
Okay.
So I have a question for B.
Okay, here we go.
Have you ever been to a gig with your mom and you were in the audience and you got scared or excited about something that your mom was doing on stage?
Oh,
Let
let's
me
think.
I don't know. She wanted to do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, anyways. So, when I was like 3 years old watching Carmen, I wasn't disturbed by how my mom was getting killed, how my mom was getting choked. Nothing like that.
Or
Like
not even the
beating
kissy
up,
face.
not even kissing face, not even kissy face, not even hurting other people, not even being choked alive. I came up to her and I said, "Mom, you were smoking. That's bad."
She
That
had
was-
to smoke. She had to pretend smoking cigarettes, right?
I think you were 5. It was in Portland when I did the Carmen in Portland, and I think you were
smoking.
5 years old. Yeah, and I sat down with her before the show, and I said, "Okay,
Mommy's
listen,
gonna
you
get
know,
hurt, and
it
she's gonna
looks
hurt
like-
other people.
I said it looks like I'm gonna get hurt, and it looks like I'm hurting other people, and I'm gonna be
But
kissing
I'm
people,
not.
and it's gonna look real, but it's not real." And she was very
I was like,
confident.
"Okay."
She's like, "I've seen you on stage before. I know it's all pretend."
Yeah.
As soon as she saw me backstage after it was over, she
Mother.
was so mad that I was smoking.
You were.
But it wasn't real.
Yeah, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. I've had to smoke on stage too.
Yeah.
How about you, Millie? Have you ever saw something that was kind of
Oh,
like?
let me tell you the story. Get out of the camera.
Oh, okay. I'm
She's
sitting
like, "All right,
down.
we're good.
I'll
Sit
cut
down.
on the short
Hold on to your hat here.
So, one time when I was like about 5,
Yeah, I think you were 5.
I was sitting in the opera with my mom, and we were like
I was singing
at the
I was
top, so
singing
we
the-
could see the whole thing.
I was singing the title role
Bad
of
idea,
Nabucco.
though. Bad idea, though. We were at the tippy top. Bad idea, the way I could see the whole thing. And this is funny. When the mean daughter,
Abigail.
was there one in Amelia?
That's hard to say.
No, that's in Balo and Mascara.
And
In Nabucco, I had the mean daughter who is Abigail, and then the nice daughter who is Fanena.
Who's the oldest?
I don't. I think Abigail is the older one.
Yeah. So, anyway, this is about to get really funny.
Okay, say it.
Okay. So when my dad was like, so the mean daughter took over the throne.
Right. Nabucco goes crazy and gets sent out, and he walks through the wilderness for 7 years. And when he comes back, his daughter has taken over his throne.
No, it was 7 weeks.
No, I don't think it was. But
It was
okay, go ahead.
weeks.
Okay, go ahead.
And when the daughter said, "Guards, take him away," to my daddy, and they pulled him, and I was like, "Where are they taking my daddy?"
Loud as you could possibly imagine.
And one of the guards were like, "Who is
Oh,
that?"
I heard it clear as day on stage. And the guards, while they were like grabbing me and pulling me away, they're like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Oh, that would be my daughter."
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, that happened. That happened. And I think, what did mommy do right after you said that? She take you out into the
Yeah,
lobby?
to the lobby to see it on the TV.
funny. You're like, we're gonna be watching it from here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the rest of the show. Luckily, that was near the end. So yeah.
Let's just have a moment for opera spouses.
Where are they taking?
Oh my gosh, right?
And there's another time where it was like really crazy.
What?
Where what was that time when
Oh.
so
Oh,
one of the operas that my dad did
Umbalo and Maschera.
and he had a daughter and
Well, it's my wife, but
your wife. No,
yeah.
it was the daughter. I remember it clear as day. I remember it was yesterday. It was your daughter.
He's like, wait a minute.
Okay,
This
well,
was about to make sense.
okay.
And the daughter was named Amelia, like me.
Oh.
And I was like, at the end, to my dad, I was saying, she better not take my place.
Oh,
Are you
no
talking
one will
about-
ever take
No.
place.
when we did that production of Traviata, and okay, so I did a production of Traviata where I actually had a daughter, and her real name was Amelia.
Oh.
I was thinking that you were talking about a character in a show named Amelia.
Mm-mm.
Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, good story. Good
No one
story.
will take your place, Amelia, ever.
No one will ever take your place.
Okay, I have a question for Beatrice. Do you like to sing? And if so, what kind of music?
Yes, I love to sing. I
You
love
do?
it so much.
What
My
kind of
fa-
music do you like to sing?
Oh, there's been so much music going on in quarantine. It's not even like, it's not funny. It's just like music every second of every time that we get a chance to sing, we'll do it. In the car, even if it's like 5 minutes. Let's put on some ABBA. Let's put on some Beatles. Let's put on some Into the Woods.
Oh my gosh. She
Every-
loves
Into the
it.
Woods. That was Millie's
That's
favorite.
my favorite.
That's her favorite.
My favorite.
She's
My
like,
favorite movie.
Millie, come over here. Millie loves Into the Woods.
I love
awesome.
Into the Woods.
Who's your
too.
favorite character? Or do you have a favorite
Do
character?
you have a favorite character in
I
Into the Woods?
actually forgot about it.
Well, let's say
That was
this.
like
I
2
should.
years ago.
We saw it live, and that was
Oh
the.
my
first-
God.
I've seen it with I've seen it with Mima
You saw the movie with Mimo?
when we went to Colonial High School.
Oh, you saw it with. Okay, so she's seen it live twice. So we saw it live, and she was like, when it ended. This was the junior version, so they only did the first time.
Yeah. Well,
And so when it ended, Millie? Do you remember what you said to me when it ended? She looked at me. She goes, "That's it. Tell him to do it again. I want to see it again."
it's like,
and-
there's needs to be more.
I know, right? It was so cute.
No, that was that sparkling.
I know.
Basically,
It was like
here's
the first
the
time
Woods.
part.
Happy, a little bit of conflict. So happy. Everyone dies. That's the end.
Okay.
Except in the movie, they don't show them dying, of course, because, you know, some kids could be watching it.
The other thing about Into the Woods is also Shrek. So I'm getting like confused.
Because
Oh,
Shrek lives in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And like I think some of the characters from Shrek is in it.
Really?
Like
Like Pinocchio.
no,
Oh,
Red
yeah. Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Bro.
Yeah.
Did you hear
Pinocchio.
this, bro?
Pinocchio
Pinocchio.
is one of the scary stories. Shrek's not that scary. And he's in like
Wow. Okay. B. Let's hear some of your questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to actually,
Do you have
I
someone there?
literally wrote down the same question for Millie. Do you like to sing, Millie? And if so, have you been singing a lot in quarantine? What's your favorite song? And what have you been singing a lot of in quarantine?
Mhm. So, first question: do you like to sing?
Yes, I love it.
Okay,
But
she
not
likes to
opera.
sing, but not opera. She
I
wants
like
to
to sing
clarify.
pop.
And what kind of pop music do you like to sing?
Ooh.
It's hard to be on the spot like that. I'm gonna put the light on. I'm listening.
Probably
Is that better?
Rain on Me from Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga.
Oh, I love Lady Gaga.
Nice. That is
Nice.
Nice. Don't tease me.
Sorry, I like that.
Me. Right? That one? What?
Mm.
Or what's the song? I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way by Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga. That's Lady Gaga. We haven't listened to too much of her, but she knows tons of Ariana Grande. That's like her favorite.
I technically know her.
How do you technically know Ariana Grande?
Your friend knows Miranda Sings. Miranda Sings has been to Ariana Grande's birthday parties a lot, and yeah, that's probably how I know her.
Oh, interesting. So degrees of separation.
That's awesome.
3.
What's your favorite song from Ariana Grande?
Ooh, good question.
Oh,
Oh,
your
there's so
favorite.
many favorites, even though it includes some.
Tell me all. I'm here.
Sweetness or sweetener? What is it called? Sweetener.
I like
I
Sweetener.
got. I'm sorry.
I like Sweetener. I think I like every song.
You think you like every song?
Every song.
Like
Seven
every song
Rings,
is awesome.
Everything.
Oh, forgot to mention. I don't know why she has to say bad words.
Exactly.
Oh.
Thank you. So
It's like, why not just be like Michael Jackson? He didn't believe in that.
Oh wow.
Be like him.
Well, I don't know. He believed in different things, maybe. So I don't know if we should talk about that.
But yeah, she could have said, "I'm so grateful" instead of "I'm so."
Bad word.
That letter.
Stop there, censor.
This is really totally random. It's not in the opera thingy. What is your favorite Hocus Pocus movie? I mean, what is your favorite Halloween movie?
We just saw that one last week.
Hocus Pocus is amazing.
Oh my god, we can read each other's minds. I love
Do you
Hocus
love that
Pocus.
one?
She loves it. Did you hear what she said? She goes, "We can read each other's minds."
We
so
can
awesome.
read each other's siblings.
I love
We
that
are
movie.
siblings.
Wait,
Here's your sister from another mister.
Okay, so yes, soul sisters. Okay.
oh, what do you want?
We also like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna ask another
I'll
Halloween.
be right back. I have to feed my dog.
Okay.
Oh no, honey, she doesn't need her food. Just let her open those doors. No, but open those doors. Just let her out. Okay, there you go. Now come here. Come here.
Hey, Mom.
Okay, Miss Sandy had a question.
What?
Oh, I wanted to ask you. Okay, I know that Halloween's a little different this year, but are
Right.
you gonna still dress up for Halloween?
And what are you dressing up as?
What costume? What costume?
What?
You don't have to tell us if you don't want to. If you want it to be a surprise.
But I could tell you my. I could tell you mine.
Oh, I have the confidence now.
Okay.
Okay,
excellent.
the confidence.
You go. You go.
Now from Descendants 3.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. What are you gonna dress up as, B?
Okay, so my friend. Okay, my best friend in like the whole entire world. My best friend Sydney.
They're gonna have a.
Yeah, we're in the quarantine bubble, as we call it, because we've been with each other a lot, and we've been.
We know their family.
Yeah, we know their
nicest
family
people.
really well. They're like so nice. So I'm going to have a Halloween sleepover with her, and we are going trick or treating together.
Ish.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Right.
What?
Well, yeah.
Of course. Right. No, of course. But what are you going to dress up as? B, what are you dressing up as?
Yes. Keep going. Oh my gosh. No. Well, you know.
We're being the devil and the angel, but I'm being an angel and she's being a devil.
Oh, that's a great costume for two people that
Yeah.
are going together. That's awesome.
Who's going to be the Dark-Winged Angel?
Ooh,
That's a nice devil. Black-Winged Angel is a nice devil.
is that true?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
don't think she knows. I'm like,
According
yeah.
to me, it is true.
Okay, well, good to know.
Scout.
Do you have any other questions, B?
Yes.
Oh, can I have a question? Remember we talked about like what's something that surprised you in quarantine?
Oh, I was just getting to the quarantine questions.
Okay, quarantine questions. That's fun to
um,
say. Quarantine questions.
Quarantine questions.
Quarantine questions.
Don't follow.
Okay. Actually, first before, can I do one more thing for Millie? What's your favorite role your dad has sang?
Oh, sung. Yeah,
Sung,
that's a
sorry.
good one actually.
What's your favorite role that I've sung?
I don't really what's that word?
I don't know what
What
is
is-
it?
I don't really
Do you remember the
listen to it.
character?
I don't really
Should've
just-
known. You don't know?
I don't
Describe
really-
it.
Well, but you know, like I've sung the role of like the dad whenever I'm the dad. That's Germont.
Yeah, but it's not my favorite.
That's not your favorite?
I don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, like for example, when I was singing
So much
Germont
music.
with Mary Dunleavy and Millie was running around with her daughter, and
Yeah.
they were like, the last thing they wanted, I thought it would be so cool. I'm like, here, it's the Zits. You guys can sit in the audience and just listen to the beautiful music, and your daddy's going to be up on stage. What were you doing? You were running through the audience and going out into the lobby and running around like,
It was like open, right? So that must have been fun.
right,
Yeah.
right. But yeah, I don't know if you've paid attention enough to have a
Like having
favorite.
fun out in the auditorium.
Well, what about when I was the bad guy, when I was the evil bad guy, Scarpia? No? Doesn't do nothing for you? Okay.
Was
Well,
there a cool costume or look that your dad had that you're like,
yeah.
I don't even recognize him,
Or like-
something?
Oh, there's a story.
Okay.
One time, you were dressed up as someone, and someone else was dressed up as that same character, and you looked exactly the same. So this man like came, and it looked just like you in the wig and the makeup and the costume. And I said, "Hey, Daddy," to the wrong person.
Oh my goodness.
I've done that before.
The wig and makeup people must have felt like, yeah, we
wig
did
and
a good
makeup are
Yeah,
quite
so-
talented. Yeah. I'm not sure what that was. I can't even remember what gig that was on, but
Honey?
I remember that happening and be like, honey, I'm right here. And she like
Yeah,
looked up. Well, we were backstage. It was backstage and it was kind of dark. But yeah.
No, it was pure.
How did he react?
He like came up. He like I remember it was like stairs and it was so dirty. And he was like coming up and we were going down. And I said, "Oh, hey, Daddy!" And I ran to give him a hug. And he
How did he react?
was like, probably just
Rude.
That's so funny. I
and
have
then before I even try to like touch him, he said, "Oh, honey, I'm over here."
yeah, I was like, Millie, come here.
I was like, "No, you're not my daddy. That's my daddy."
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, pull up that wig. Pull off that wig. Oh yeah, you're my daddy.
Mm-hmm. But do you remember there was also one time when, so going back to that Nabucco production where she screamed from the audience, when he goes crazy, Nabucco goes crazy at the end and he builds this, like, he's kept in prison and he has to build this like crown of thorns and just sort of bushes and stuff, and it's just, he's all disgusting. And that's what you were in for the end of the show. And so when I walked backstage to my dressing room and Christina and Millie came around the corner and they came into the room, do you remember seeing me when I had that crown of thorns on? And you were like, she looked at me like, who are you? And what?
Gus.
Funny.
It was
So
very,
that's-
very different. Did you?
I remember like one opera. It might have been a dream, but like I've seen like someone have like a bloody hand, and, like a bloody arm.
Oh yeah. Well, did you see?
No, I think that was a dream.
I actually did one show where I got to take I was wearing a prosthesis during Act 1.
Yeah, because of this.
And
Yeah,
because I was born with one hand. So when I in Act 2, this was when I was playing the role of Scarpia. I've also done it as Valentin and Faust. So I start Act 1 as Valentin with a prosthesis, then I come back from war in Act 3 without it.
Wow.
But
that's really cool when you only have one hand. It's like, oh, I don't have to wear all that makeup to chop off my hand.
what? No. So as Scarpia, though, I wore my prosthesis in Act 1, and then in Act 2, during that scene where after I send away Cavaradossi to be tortured, and Tosca turns back around and looks at me like, how could you? I stare her down, I pop off my prosthesis, and I hand it to Charrone, who's like, oh yes, I know exactly where this goes. And then I roll up my sleeve like it's about to get real, lady. And every time the audience is like, because it's, you would never know. So, but we didn't let you see Act 2 because it's a little bit rough.
I just put a lot of.
Do you need a tissue?
Sometimes I breathe weirdly through my nose, and it feels like all this burning air in my nose, and it kind of.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do you ever have when you have something sour or like I don't know, spicy.
Oh, she's eating a Jolly Rancher right now.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw that. I'm
Mhm.
sad
You
at
talk
that right
about
now.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I've
Mommy,
had 3 throughout this.
Yeah, we definitely noticed that you've
What's your
had
favorite
some.
picture?
Okay, okay,
Is the
all right.
green apple?
One.
Okay,
Green
okay.
apple.
So,
2.
B,
Nasty
Babe.
stuff out of my
I love that.
watermelon and
I'm having watermelon right
what's your
now.
answer for that same question? Do you have a favorite role that your mom sings?
well, I have to say
I mean,
Carmen would be the obvious, of course, but other ones are definitely Suzuki from Madame
Oh, you
Butterfly.
like
Oh yeah,
Oh
Norma.
yeah, I remember Madame Butterfly. You guys
I,
I've done
I
Madame Butterfly more than any other
and
opera.
you had a son.
And tenor, I loved when it's just Coronation of Pope.
you never got to see Coronation. that was
I
a little
never
too
got
racy for.
to.
Why is it so
I saw
dark
her
where
at
you are?
the billboard thingy in front of the Metropolitan.
No, that
No, it was in New York,
Uh huh.
and then I saw it. And it was
Because they don't live here; they live in Massachusetts.
I don't know. where what it was. Do you remember that was in Denver where there were all those pictures of mommy as
yeah,
Carmen? and
sorry.
So you think Carmen's probably the number one answer?
Yes, but there's.
I'm so surprised by
So-
Suzuki. She loves Suzuki. I
I
think the
do.
music is so
I
beautiful.
love it.
that
It's so
she's-
beautiful.
Yeah,
The
I
music-
That's a show we could sing together for sure.
Oh, I love. I
That
was.
Act 3 trio.
Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. I've only done it once. I was so happy to get to do it.
Oh,
at
yeah.
the Northwest Opera. It was awesome. It was such a great team of people.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
but I just said, oh my goodness, I wish I had a friend like Suzuki, or I want to be a friend like Suzuki to somebody else.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
what a wonderful
You are
person.
No, but you're such a
to-
Suzuki.
Oh,
You
that's
So
are.
supportive, so
Like-
supportive, and
It's like you're
It's
playing
such a
yourself.
lovely, lovely role.
Do you ever
so-
feel like you're playing yourself when you go on? Like, do you ever?
That's a good question.
that's
Do
a
you
really
ever feel like yourself? You.
well. I mean, sometimes you have these moments where you connect the dots between the character that you're playing and like how you would think about that in that situation if you were this person, you know. So in a sense, I mean, I think, you know, you have to inhabit that character, and if you're really in the moment and you're, you know, saying what you mean and meaning what you say,
Yeah,
then
it's
you kind of are, yeah.
It's very truthful. Yeah. So
So-
you kind of
Oh, sorry.
like a shapeshifter. You're
Yeah.
in the character.
Right.
So you can do a little bit of yourself. in it.
Millie, in your opinion, what's the worst thing about quarantine? Like,
Oh, quarantine questions. Cue-
Quarantine.
What's the
cue-
worst thing about quarantine?
I'm interested to know.
I get to be at home during school.
That's the worst thing?
Oh wait, no, that's the best thing.
So you're
What's
doing.
the worst thing about quarantine that makes you so unhappy?
I get to see my teacher or my student teacher.
Yeah.
She doesn't get to see her teachers and be in school with all of her friends, right?
So I also have a student teacher with my homeroom.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Miss
You're always fun.
Dambara.
Okay.
Millie, I'm a little confused. What's a student teacher? Can you please tell me? Can you tell me?
A student teacher is like a person in college that wants to be a teacher when they grow up. So they take lessons and learn at a school with a teacher. So it's called a student teacher because she's not an adult. Well, she is. She's not married. And
Maybe she just doesn't have a job as a teacher yet.
yeah, she doesn't.
She's
have-
still in school.
Yeah, she's still in school.
Oh,
Training, on the job training. I did
on the
that.
job training.
I
Yeah.
did that before.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
Daddy, I'm really scared I'm gonna stub my toe.
You're not going to stub your toe, I promise.
It's look better.
She had a recent injury to her toe.
Yeah.
And you want to.
Second.
Okay, we can't. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay. Okay.
It's my worst injury. Yet
It's your
I've
worst-
never been to the hospital.
happened?
Oh, tell Beanie
Okay.
what happened.
I need to tell her.
Okay, go. I can't move over.
Well, you can get behind me.
The piano's right here. I'm going to get behind you.
Can't.
Okay, that's so good, but don't lean on me, bite.
Tell the story.
Okay, so I was having a sleepover with my grandma, and it was morning, and I I like whipped cream on my hot cocoa with like marshmallows as
Ooh.
sprinkles.
Oh,
And
same.
and I didn't know. So like she poured the whipped cream on the hot cocoa and she set it back and put the marshmallows on the whipped cream. She set it back in the refrigerator. And then I was like, can I have some more and I said, "Can I have some more whipped cream?" And she did not tell me that when you pick up the whipped cream bottle, the lid doesn't stick to it like ours. So I was so stupid. I grabbed it by the cap, put it over my foot, and bam! It cut open my toe.
It fell right on your toe.
And I think I broke the toe next to it.
Yeah, the
Oh.
toe,
I
the
think- I
little.
think I
So her
had
big
that
toe
one.
had a pretty big.
It's like deep.
Gash
It's
on
like
it.
deep.
Oh,
And
But
then-
It's like when you
it's like the most random thing too.
Yeah,
You're like,
the
what?
moment you drop, like if you're like watching your iPad or I don't know your phone, and you're like grabbing something, maybe it's on your lap. You
Like
look
this is a good example of what happened.
over-
Wow, I don't know what's gonna happen right
so
now.
bad. It's like the pain. You're like, it hurts so bad.
What you doing?
I know, right? It's crazy.
You're like, I wish it would stop.
Oh,
Okay,
we have
go
an
ahead.
example.
I know.
And
Yeah.
the phone is the bottle cap.
Oh, don't drop it on your toes.
You're gonna drop your phone?
No. So this is my toe. Pretend this is my foot, and this is my big toe.
Yes.
Like my plate.
Pretend my pointer finger is my big toe. I picked it up by the lid and went, bam.
Ooh, honey.
Like I was like,
You know,
That was bad. That was bad. Yeah,
good thing that wasn't strong enough to break my big toe, because that would have been a problem.
that would have been a problem had you broken your big toe.
although the tan is always like a metal, not
Yeah.
a metal, but it's like a harder.
Yeah, it's a hard metal kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Beatrice, what's been your?
We've gone from opera to whipped cream.
We have. Hey.
Yeah.
So
Both things
what?
I love.
Things I love.
Definitely love.
Yeah.
Beatrice,
you're
what's been your
right.
favorite thing about being in quarantine?
Favorite. Scout is licking my.
Scout licking her arm.
He's licking my armpit.
It's tickly.
Okay. Anyways, definitely being. This is gonna sound really sappy, but kind of like looking at the stuff that you've missed, like looking back on some stuff that maybe you didn't think of before that was a privilege, like meeting your friends, going on trips.
Things you may have taken for granted.
Yeah, things that you may have taken for granted and stuff that you're like, wouldn't ever think that you would really have done in quarantine. You do it. It's like we got really into like painting rocks and doing journaling and going for walks. We haven't, like in Dedham, we would just, do our regular routine, go to work, go to school. We wouldn't really go on walks. But since quarantine, we've been going on so many walks because there's nothing really else.
Yeah,
to
we've been doing
do.
like play
Yeah.
dates with walks. Like we
Like
wear
in
masks.
summer.
And, yeah.
In the summer, you couldn't go to any summer camps. You couldn't really have any play dates. So we would go on a walk almost every night. And
Okay.
Does
There
she
must
know
be
the W
in the
word?
yard. I don't know what's going on.
it's literally pitch black outside, although he's still
It's not
barking.
literally pitch black outside. It's still
Okay, sure.
Okay. I'm gonna be so sad when the sun sets so much earlier.
It's already starting to do it,
Yeah.
right? It seems
Oh,
like it.
no.
What it looks
Makes me
like
want to go to bed
is
earlier.
on too.
Okay. No, let's put this down. Thank you. All right. Well, hey, listen.
Also been really, really fun texting Millie on Messenger Kids.
Oh, you
so-
guys been
I
texting
love
back and forth on
Messenger
that?
Kids.
Duh.
Messenger
It's
Kids is so
like-
great.
Duh. I might call you when we're done with this thing. Like,
I'm gonna recap.
Recap.
I can't believe my dad said this. I can't believe
Oh
my
my
mom.
gosh, like my mom just
Like my dog is flipping out.
and licking armpits and flipping.
so this is a little odd. I took a picture, like I was supposed to do today and yesterday, and I've noticed something about the picture. So there's like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like, there's
Okay.
me, there's Aliana, there's Henry, there's Maverick, just like doing his own thing, and she's like, oh, pull up this thing and do the wild robot and write Roz right there and do all that stuff. And we're like, what?
I guess sometimes learning can be a little bit challenging. When you're
And she's like,
Millie, can we put this
"It's
down for a second?
7."
Okay, well, listen, I just wanted to say thank you so
Follow
much
these
for you both
Thank
being
you,
here with
guys.
us.
It was nice
This
to
has
meet
been
you.
This has been so fun.
This has been
It
so
was.
much fun.
Yay.
So fucking fun.
It's so good to see you be. I don't know if you even remember seeing me.
Wait, I forgot to ask you this and at the beginning.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Sorry. I'm 11 years old, and I turned 11 years old on
September.
He's trying to
He's trying to
outshow me right now.
September 2nd is her birthday, so she just turned 11.
So she just turned 11.
Yeah,
And
so
how-
she's on the older side of 5th grade.
Okay.
Like her birthday, the cutoff date. So she's on like one of the older kids.
Right,
So.
right.
I have some advice for you for 5th grade.
Oh, we have advice. So if you guys
Okay.
want to talk via
So-
messenger, you guys can talk about 5th grade.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great plan.
Online 5th
Halloween.
grade as well. Well,
You can always fill Millie in on like what's to come. That'll be great.
I wish you lived in here and went to Hamilton. Such great school. But it was your last year of elementary.
Oh, right. Yeah, 5th grade is the last year of elementary school at our
Oh.
school. Our elementary school goes kindergarten through 5th, and then junior high is 6, 7, 8, and then high school.
Yeah, same
at
here.
my school, we have, it's very weird. We have kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, and then whole other building.
We're
Third grade,
in the
4th grade, 5th
town
grade.
that we're in.
New, but it's like,
So B gets to
It's
go
the
for 1
newest
year
building.
and then goes to junior high.
and
so,
then, but
but
middle
it's a
school
weird
is
year anyway.
middle school is literally
Okay.
So good.
middle school is literally right next to it, and then high school is really like right next to it, and then you could go to Stonehill College. So
There you
yeah,
go. Right there.
It's like there's my future college. I can just stare at it all day long.
yeah.
Like there's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna.
That's where you're gonna go.
That's where I'm gonna go for college and do stuff.
You guys, it was so good to talk to you. Oh, I just whacked her.
Uh-oh.
This is so nice to catch
This
up with you.
was so great. It was so great to see you.
And hi.
Thank you for spending some time with us. And thank you, Beatrice, for being with us.
Thank you, Bea.
And
Aw.
thank you, Millie, for being with
Thank
us.
you,
I
Millie.
appreciate it.
Yay.
It's an honor to spend time with
You
you.
see my dimple?
Did
love
you?
your
I
dimple.
think everybody saw your dimple.
I love that. And I love your hair. It looks
Oh yeah,
so beautiful.
fancy.
It's in a bob
Fancy
right now.
Nancy.
I am so tired of it being a bob.
I'm sorry, Scout's trying to outshow you.
Okay. Well, hey, we'll wrap up. Stay on. I'll just go ahead and finish this recording and turn off
Okay.
live.
Hi,
But
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Think